Hello there, Commodore from here. It's time we talk about the origins and hidden secrets of Link's new Green Tunic. Since it is already one of the best heroic designs in the entire Zelda series, which breaks the convention that the hero needs to wear A green hat as part of the set, B is a nearly identical tunic to the rest in the series, and C wear pants or leggings of questionable shape and color. Even so, up to now in Breath of the Wild, and then I mean canonically, Link never wears the Tunic of the Wild and finishes the game with the Champion Tunic and the Master Sword after being declared by Princess Zelda the hero of Hyrule. The true post-credit ending makes it clear that this was just the Champion prologue and the true quest for the Master Sword awaits in the sequel, which might also be its endgame. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe, less than 4,000 to go to 300,000 and our Switch OLED plus game giveaway. But now, let's deep underground naturally with art by Jasqreate, the Nebulace and mods by Naomi, Claire and Noodles, at JukiLuki on Twitter. Malice O'Clock, and not the Blood Moon, but rather the king of evil and demons himself, who is going after the Master Sword and Link's right arm, possibly corrupting both. Fast forward a little bit and Link is falling through the sky. Fitting, since it was up in the sky, specifically Skyward Sword's Knight Academy of Skyloft, that the first Link received the first green tunic in the Zelda timeline. In other words, this new but at the same time very old tunic has most likely been waiting up here in the sky for a hero to begin his quest and trials in the realm of the sky, or perhaps even divinity itself, for a very long time. In the realm that possibly the three golden goddesses departed back to, but most of all Hylia, who remained among the mortals and finally sacrificed her immortality to be reborn as a mortal who could wield the Triforce. The goddess of light and the original safekeeper of the Triforce who guided us through the goddess statues of Breath of the Wild. Unless it was immortal bloodline incarnation Princess Zelda all along from the castle. Even so, that isn't the first fall for a Zelda. As the first mortal incarnation of the goddess and the founder of a dynasty of Hyrule, Zelda of Skyloft also fell down in an almost identical scene. And these connections makes the trilogy of Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild and the sequels even more clear, with the thread of Hylia and the Miser's curse itself. Still, one piece has been missing, the tunic of the hero, the true green, which has been waiting for Link up in the sky. Meaning that the set we see here, up in the sky, is deliberately the first green that the hero of the wild wears ever canonically. Not the tunic prepared by the Sheikah in which Ganondoodles depicted for us in an imagined standoff against the masked Ganondorf. Since Link ends Breath of the Wild in blue, and it is first in a sequel when he makes his way up from the depths of darkness, up to the light of the sky that he claims the Sky Collection, specifically the set of the hero. Which makes sense, since we are not truly a hero in Breath of the Wild, until we reach the point where there is no gameplay left in the game. Princess Zelda's brief monologue right before the end credits roll. The moment where the princess recognizes her chosen knight and champion as the hero. And every hero needs a tunic. But since Link's new tunic probably ties back to Zelda's antiquity, which has been clearly referenced through the ancient Hylian ruins in Breath of the Wild, it is time to address the symbolic value and importance of the tunic of the hero in the sequel. Namely the ancient Greco-Roman / Hylian and barbarian Zonai green tunic. In line with the theme of the sequel, combinations. A combination of order of the goddess and her people, and the wild nature of the barbarian Zonai, plus possibly a little malice from Ganondorf himself. That's right, Link in the sequel when wearing the set of the hero is likely a combination of power, wisdom and courage. Ganondorf, Hylia and the heroes before Link. Balanced and ready to wield the complete Triforce when the time arrives. So let's get into analyzing the whole set from top to bottom, starting with what is clearly the most important detail with this sequel. The new hairstyles of Ganondorf, Princess Zelda, Link, and even the game's producer, Eiji Aonuma, all have changed and are a nice combination of battle long and tech efficient short. Joking aside, Link's new hairstyle is definitely tied to the nature of the Link we see on the mural of the ancient battle 10,000 years ago. The unbound hair does make sense. The order of his blue hair ring has been removed and Link is embracing a more wild Zonai barbarian nature. That of Furor, spirits and ambassador of the goddess of life and nature, Farosh the dragon, who as we all remember after inspection of its part of the surface returns back to the sky portal in the heavens. A portal which Link might have crossed in the sequel. The portal of the dragons, the deities that we might be wearing on top of the green piece of the heroic tunic. At the same time, you may have noticed that it isn't clear which dragon Link is wearing on his left shoulder. And that might be very deliberate and in line with the symbolism of this sequel, the dragons being representations of red, blue and green. the 3 golden goddesses of Din, Nehru and Faror. Though at the same time this dragon is yellow or golden and attached to the green cloth, where we find not 3, but 4 green Triforce markings. So what if this is actually the representation of a 4th dragon, one of light and thus of Hylia, which does not depart from the sky heavens for the surface? Or perhaps it has something to do with this automaton. It is definitely a possibility, and we are only getting started with the Order of Hylia in this tunic, since this tunic, or more specifically set, represents one key theme: combinations of different kinds of good, specifically harmony or more so balance of order and chaos. The Order of Hylia with the ancient Hylians and the wilderness of Faror with the times unknown, distant past Zonai, though also a blend of the real world's east and west, as Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild and this sequel have clearly demonstrated. Do not dismiss it. With this trilogy, Zelda has gone from being an exclusively medieval European series to a combination of ancient European and Japanese. A blend of 2 polytheistic regions during antiquity, Greco-Roman and Sino-Japanese. Which brings us to the right side of Link's tunic, which is clearly the divine and pure side of it. It may not longer be Hylia white due to its age, but it is clearly inspired by Greco-Roman, but most of all ancient Greek male clothing, the one seen in the polis or city-states of ancient Hellas. The simple, though elegant male Greek clothing of antiquity that matches well together with what Link is wearing, though it is also a combination of different styles from the era predating Alexander the Great of Macedon. I return to the roots of the Hylians, that of the civilized ordered antiquity on one side, and on the other the wild and organic barbarians, the civilized and ordered with the wild and the chaotic. Together they represent different aspects of good in the past in the land of Hyrule against the forces of evil and malice, a combination which we even see on Link's chest with the neatly braided wreath with the wild and clearly barbarian wild animal teeth or entirely stone's belt Link is wearing. Wisdom and courage combined. King Rhombosphara's Hyrule and the cloth of the Hylians, with the barbaric Zonai of stone, and in real life, ancient Greece, and then the Roman eternal fight against wild uncivilized barbarians from the north and east. Now then, let's conclude our little Greco-Roman tunic odyssey by going a little over the new pants and the variation with no pants but proper Greco-Roman sandals. You see, ancient Greek and Roman men did not wear pants as they saw them as barbaric, which is quite fitting with the 2 variations of the set of the hero that we have seen so far. Tunic, which is a Greco-barbarian blend, hair that is definitely barbarian, and well wild, and a lower part that has 2 variations, one civilized and one barbaric. Greco-Roman and Northern barbarian, translated to Hyrule of the era of the wild and creating a champion about ruins from times unknown, ancient Hylian and Zonai. At the same time, up in the heavens, Link is surrounded by Eastern, specifically Japanese religious and spiritual Shinto and Buddhist elements. In other words, the tradition of religion remains strong in The Legend of Zelda, just like it has been since 1986. This new tunic and set of the hero, but also the Shinto gates with lotus flowers and Buddhist temples up in the sky, will go down in Zelda history as the moment where Link decisively went from wearing canon Christian and monotheistic inspired items, say weapons like the Master Sword, which is clearly inspired by the legend of King Arthur, to the glory days of antiquity and the polytheistic culture of that age. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the secret of Link's new tunic, with origins to a point in time where East and West were polytheistic, a time where countless temples and shrines dedicated to numerous gods filled out European cities and homes. It is just that in the Far East and most of all Japan, this never changed, and Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines still dominate the home city of Nintendo, Kyoto, the great source of inspiration for this untraditional trilogy. And we should commend the development team for this depth. But his new ancient tunic of the hero is another set soaked in ancient history and mythology from our own world. But what do you think of Link's new, but at the same time ancient tunic? Sound off in the comment section down below. Once again, a big shout out to Jasqreate, the Nebulace, and Ganondoodles for past permission to include their arts, and mods by Naomi, Claire, and Noodles at JukiLuki on Twitter. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and share the video to make it more visible, and subscribe plus press that notification bell for more Zelda theories like this one, and get us past 300,000 subscribers by my 30th birthday or June 13th. And with it, a Switch OLED plus game giveaway. Last but definitely not least, a big thanks to you for watching until the end, and to all our patreon.com/comearound patrons, and in particular our role producer Charles Josh. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.